The Church of San Giorgio Maggiore, located on the homonymous Venetian island, is the topic of the Social Museum and Smart Tourism online platform, as the result of a research project which aims to introduce original innovation criteria in the promotion of cultural heritage. The aim of the research is to create the content and test the online platform, able to involve appropriate sample users. With the instruments and methodologies applied on the case studies, it is possible to achieve the attractiveness and accessibility of the system in all its main functions. The first structure belonging to the Church of San Giorgio was built between the 8th and 9th century. The first building collapsed in 1223 following an earthquake. The architectural configuration of the church before the earthquake is still unknown, although it can be assumed that the church was rebuilt 5 times. The project of the actual basilica is the work by Andrea Palladio. Some of the most important Venetian painters and sculptors have been involved for the decoration and the realization of the works of art, still visible in the church. The choir and the facade were completed posthumously after the death of the master Palladio, the first one in 1591, while the second one between 1597 and 1610 by Vincenzo Scamozzi. The bell tower has been completed only in 1791 under the direction of Benedetto Buratti. Some of the main features of the construction have been selected as focus of the project to develop the platform content. The bell tower identifies an important key point from which and towards which it is possible to admire the views of the Venetian lagoon. Once reached at a height of 75 meters, it is possible to access the view given by the loggia, which is able to offer a 360 view of the entire area. Another topic of the virtual tour is focused on the works of art. Currently in the Basilica there are various paintings and sculptures created by some of the most important Venetian painters and sculptors, but no information are available for the ideal visitor of the church, so that the online platform allows to offer a free accessible way to collect and share information. The third focus is the wooden choir of the Basilica. In particular, the research concerns the wooden sculptural cycle that adorns the walls of the seats of the choir, depicting the life of Saint Benedict. With an agreement dating back to April 1594, the monks entrusted the master Gasparo Pietro Gatti da Bassano with creating the choir seats. The project was therefore entrusted to several workers, each one engaged in the creation of different parts of the choir. The creation of the sculptural cycle of Saint Benedict is attributed to the Flemish master Alberto de Brule, who reproduced in his work the engravings of a text published 10 years before the creation of the choir, De Speculum et Exemplar Christicolarum, Vita Beatissimi Patris Benedicti, published in Rome in 1587 and written by Angelo Faggi, known as Sangrino, a Benedictine monk and abbot of the Church of Santa Giustina in Padua. Fourth and final focus concerns the conclave room, located on the first floor of the monastic complex, in which one of the most important episodes in the history of the church took place, the only one conclave held out of Rome. An important step of the research is based on the on-site digital acquisition of data related to the Basilica, proposing a multiscalar survey methodology according to the features of the different subjects and the final output to achieve. As the selected topics are different in terms of dimensions, materials, complexity of the geometry, it is necessary to merge different kinds of technologies to translate them in a digital environment, ensuring a good compromise between a definition and quality of contents. The geometric acquisition of the volume of the Basilica was created by the use of the Faro laser scanner, through which, by combining the 93 scans, it was possible to generate the color point cloud. These data were therefore integrated with the photogrammetric data acquired through the use of reflex cameras of the most significant and complex decorative details of the Basilica. The use of the Klaus Rodeon Pixpert rotating head combined with a reflex camera allows the possibility to obtain the 29 spheric images. The source images were post-produced through stitching, in most of the cases setting manually the necessary control point. Then the 29 spheric panoramas were added into the online platform. This became the base for the virtual tour. The acquisition of the geometric data of the wooden choir therefore required a more detailed acquisition, guaranteed by the use of the Einscan Pro HD manual scanner, capable of capturing and transferring the 3D data and the entire range of colors to the computer, converting the data into automated mesh surfaces. The post-production phase has led to define the volume of the interiors and the facade of the basilica. From the point cloud, it has been possible to obtain 2D drawings and different views of the basilica. It has been also the base for 3D modeling process. Photogrammetry was applied to those elements which need a more defined level of detail, as capitals and decoration in the interior space and the facade. The survey of the wooden choir required different steps, starting from photogrammetry to the manual laser scanner technology, due to the difficulties to obtain correct virtual clones because of the typology of the material, the wood, which has monochromatic appearance, less contrast between points, and the light reflection of punctual artificial spotlights that highlight the choir. The 3D model is one of the results of the post-production phase, which is obtained through the combination of different softwares, from Rhinoceros and AutoCAD 3D for the basilica and Blender to adjust and simplify the mesh surfaces coming from the photogrammetric operations. The scenes of the wooden choir were generated by automated mesh surfaces starting from the point cloud obtained from manual laser scanner process. In this image, 5 examples taken from the entire cycle of sculptures that adorn the wooden choir. In this image, a summary of the creation of spheric images of the interior and the exterior of the basilica, while on top on the left, the combination of instruments applied during the survey carried out in the loggia of the bell tower. The virtual tour aims to allow the possibility to visit the church both in remote control or on-site by providing the necessary information to those who visit the church as a support tool reachable from personal devices as smartphones or tablets. The virtual tour is always guided by a friendly interface made by icons from which it is possible to activate specific panels and obtain descriptions of the works of art, the features, and the historical information related to the architecture. A map set in the corner on the right allows to recognize the position of the observer, but also to switch from one location to the others spread on the entire plan. The various locations aim to define a path through which it is possible to customize the visit according to the personal interests of the users. Each information icon allows to activate the 108 descriptive panels, which include text and images, and they represent the archive of the works of art. Between these, 13 panels are related to the paintings, 42 to the sculptures, 5 to the general information and architecture of the basilica, the bell tower, the choir, and the conclave room. The models of the decorations of the choir are instead usable within 360 images through a hotspot positioned along the top band of the interface called the 3D icon, through which to choose the digital model to be displayed, the latter duly decimated, ensuring an optimal compromise between level of detail and model management. The bell tower of San Giorgio Maggiore becomes the pulpit from which to propose a visit based on several levels of knowledge, from the lagoon island through the visualization of the historical buildings to the identification of churches, buildings of historical interest and religious buildings. By using 360 images, it is allowed a virtual tour that can accompany the user in the visualization of the lagoon landscape through the selection of the different categories of buildings divided in layers and enabled by specific icons. The research project Social Museum and Smart Tourism ends with the translation of content obtained from different sources, from those historical to those more technologically advanced, in an accessible and friendly use way, highlighting the peculiarities of an historic architectural complex and its works.